When you see the sun touch the horizon, it is in fact already in the underworld. The atmosphere captures the light and curves it straight into your eyes. This is dusk, a time of lost things, between somewhere and somewhen. In the end, every sunset is but a ghost. You are headed westward. Greetings, post-consumer. This is Heading Westward, the talk show about letting go. Today's question: how is this show reaching you? We have a lot of new listeners. We would like to bid all of you a hearty welcome. We have recently extended our territory, which is why so many new people are hearing me tonight. It's been a while since our last orientation, so I'm going to take a break from the usual format to catch our new friends up to speed. Some of you are hearing me on your car radio, some on your stereo at home, some on your computer, some on your iPhone, and one of you is staring quizzically at your toaster. A few of you have started trying to change the station, and 3 of you have unplugged your listening device. I'm afraid this isn't that sort of broadcast. Try not to be alarmed and allow me to explain. I am Ron Boatman, your local ferryman representative. Ferryman LLC is a subsidiary of Charon Incorporated, the premier provider of post-consumer transportation services for thousands of years. What you are listening to is an audio newsletter that I send out from time to customers in my franchise territory. Now, some of you may be asking, are you the Grim Reaper? The answer is, as far as you understand the concept, no. You see, there are so many people on the planet now. Handling every single soul passing into the afterdeath would be far beyond the prowess of anyone, including Charon himself. So, in his infinite wisdom, Charon has seen fit to sell franchises, along with the assigned territory, to enterprising individuals. So I'm not the Grim Reaper, but I am in the same line of work. Which brings up the next obvious question most people ask at this point. Shouldn't you only be able to interact with me when I'm dead? About that, I have good news, and I have bad news. The good news is, you are most definitely not dead. The bad news? You aren't exactly alive either. You see, there's living, then there is the afterlife. After that is the after death. It is possible to still be alive, but not actually living. We prefer to avoid such offensive terms as undead, because that brings to mind rotting corpses. No, this is a different state of being. Do you know what a soul is? Neither do I, but I do know what a soul is made of. It is made of thoughts, feelings, and dreams. It is the summation of your experiences. But what happens when you take away those experiences? If we lose a job, or forget an event, or end a relationship, is our soul somewhat diminished? Unfortunately, yes. And what does happen to those missing memories? Does a single thought comprise its own soul? Indeed it does. When hope dies or a career ends, that part of you moves on to the after death. The problem is, sometimes people refuse to let go of something they should. They live in the glory days. They get caught in a single moment. They can't let go, or they don't even know when something has finally died. When you hold on to this tiny fragment, it drags you along with it. A spiritual undertow pulling you towards murky waters. Most people let go eventually, but a few people keep holding on. That person is alive, but they eventually stop living and fade from life. We call this state afterlife. I'm afraid, my friend, that you are in the afterlife. The person is alive, but they eventually stop living and fade from life. I'm afraid, my friend, that you are in the afterlife. Not to be confused with after death. That's where the fragments wind up if you finally let go of your emotional baggage. It's my job to handle those fragments, hence why you are hearing this broadcast. This is just my way of trying to reach as many people as possible. Only those in the afterlife can hear this, which means you have a problem. Is there something weighing on your soul? Something that eats away at you? Something that you would be better off without? Modern life pushes an agenda of getting it done, but people very rarely actually take the time to properly heal a wounded spirit. People try to get over it when all that does is leave your wounds untreated and festering. A damaged psyche cannot be gotten over. You can work through it, you can get past it, but you can't ignore it or deny its existence without consequences. Don't worry, I'll try to help all of you. I hope the rest of you will listen to the success stories of others and in time learn to work through your own problems. At least that's my goal. I'm afraid there's only one of me and so many of you, but I'll try to do what I can. Now, you might be asking, where is this afterlife? Well, post-consumer, you're in it. It's the world you always lived in. Ever met someone who looked like they were half dead all the time? They come into work, do their job, they go home, and with barely a grunt heard from them all day. That would be your typical zombie. Ever met someone who just seemed to suck the life out of you every time you talked to them? That would be a vampire. And have you ever met the rarest of individuals? Someone who takes all of his problems and pushes them aside. A person who never deals with his problems. Someone who would crawl up out of his own grave before missing a day of work. Someone so obsessed with getting the job done that nothing else matters. Someone who isn't type A personality, but type A+. That type of person would be me. Typical Americans call us skeletons, but we find that quite offensive. We prefer the term ossified Americans. Unfortunately, if survival for survival's sake becomes your mantra, if you never deal with any of your emotional problems, it eats away at you until there's, well, very little left. Someone in my state very rarely ever reverses his condition, so that's why we often wind up getting jobs as ferrymen. It's okay. It should bother me more, but that's the upside. You get sort of zen about this whole thing after a while. So that's the situation as it stands, although I do wish to mention something to you before we move on. Some of you may have heard about other corporations, about our competitors, Angie's Bucket List, as well as 6 Feet Uber. I understand that this is a new do-it-yourself era. However, this is the after-death we're talking about. Do you really want to deal with rank amateurs when it comes to the processing, transportation, and delivery of souls? Every ferryman is a trained, board-certified professional backed with millennia of experience. Do you really want to depend on an app for this sort of thing? We understand you have many choices in this day and age, so we urge you, please, consider your options, as well as Charon's personal guarantee. Charon himself stands behind every post-consumer transport engineer. You will be fully satisfied, or your money back. And now, on with the broadcast. Up next, Necronesia. We urge listeners to send in questions via email to hwestward@yahoo.com. We don't answer every question, but we do try to address the most oft-raised concerns. This week's question is, what is the after-death, and what is it like? Well, friend, the after-death is where you go when you die. In the industry, we call this heading westward. It's a callback to our roots in the deserts of Egypt. But what's it like, you wonder? Well, friend, close your eyes. Think about the underworld. Think about what you imagine comes afterwards. Whatever image comes to mind, allow it to rise up and take shape. Clear your mind of nothing else. Let the image take over your mind and push everything else away. It's not like that. Picture heaven. Picture who and what you would want to find there. Imagine a realm of infinite joy and fulfillment. It's not like that. Picture hell, with all of its many tortures. It's not like that. Whatever you picture, whatever you think of the underworld, whatever image, religion, or philosophy you subscribe to, I can assure you, you are wrong. The after-death is not like that. What is it like, you ask? Whatever I told you, I would then have to follow it up with, and it's not like that. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. It's simply beyond your ability, or even my ability, to fully comprehend, and I work with it every day. That's just how it is. This has been Necronesia. Up next, Underworld News. Our top stories. Norway wants to give Finland a mountain as an Independence Day gift. Where will they get enough wrapping paper? And will Finland take a peek? A report released today shows that over 80% of all marriages in history have been between cousins, second cousins, and immediate family members. However, Shelley still finds the idea of dating you revolting, and the restraining order still stands. But first, we start with a story from the Novus nuclear power plant in central New York. At approximately 3 a.m. last night at the Novus nuclear power facility, one of the warning alarms sounded off for approximately 5 minutes before being silenced. Then, it happened again at 4 a.m. The following morning, the Novus nuclear power facility released a statement that the alarm was malfunctioning and that it had been taken offline for repairs. There was no emergency and no cause for alarm. When asked why there was a 12-foot section of high-voltage fence completely melted away, the representative stated that it was a lightning strike. When asked why there was a line of burned trees on either side of a trail of blackened earth that led away from the melted fence up to a nearby road, the representative stated that it must have been a really long lightning bolt. Finally, When asked why there was a 12-foot-tall, vaguely humanoid glob of sizzling goo walking down the highway trying to hitch a ride, the representative asked if the reporter was an environmental radical Muslim who hated America before storming off. We tracked down the radioactive ooze that walked like a man and tried to get an interview, but the creature's only comment was, "Thanks, Obama." This has been Underworld News. Up next, Afterlife Advice. Every week I try to get around to talking about a specific problem and hopefully give some advice on the matter. This week we're going to be dealing with that guy in his dorm room. Yes, it's your turn. The guy curled up and crying into his pillow. You have the room to yourself because everyone else went home for the holidays. Not that you wanted to go home. College was supposed to be an escape, but it hasn't been much of an improvement, has it? You thought that the fraternity would help you, but it turns out that it may have been a bad idea. Your so-called friends gave you the Andy Award, so-called because of the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's been tough, hasn't it? You spend all your time watching movies. You don't even have the energy to play a video game most of the time. Too much thinking, too many decisions to make. You've burned every bridge you came to. At this point, your self-esteem is low enough to look up at a snake's belly in a wagon rut. I understand the need to socialize. I would have done it more myself, but I didn't. The need to be part of something is ingrained and a part of every human being. No human being does well in isolation. Stigma is a powerful force. For some reason, your so-called friends gave you the stigma of being a virgin. They implied it was a bad thing. Your friends are jerks. I know you like them, so I'm not entirely stating you need to just walk away and leave them behind. I'm just saying that when someone, quote, jokes, unquote, usually they're just expressing how they really feel, in a fashion they can use to hide those feelings by simply stating, "Just kidding." This fraternity you joined, this Andy Award, is just a way of expressing their own fears and issues. Sometimes you need to be selfish and put yourself first. Do you really need these people? Are you getting more out of this relationship than you give? I have some cynical advice. Never be friends with someone you like. Be friends with someone who likes you. Imagine a world where everyone did that. If we all picked friends who liked us, then everyone would only match up with people who liked each other. That isn't the case, and we'll never have a world like that. But I know you. You need to be selfish for a bit. You've been a victim of people leeching off your energy for so long, you don't know what it's like to have any of your own. As for being a virgin, my advice is to stop worrying about it. The truth of the matter is, the most attractive thing most people look for is confidence. If you project confidence in what you do, you will find people who lack confidence will seek you out. They too are following selfish strategies of success. The more you focus on yourself and your own well-being, the more attractive you will be to others. Right now you are looking for a relationship because you feel weak. You want someone to lean on, someone to help you. That is understandable considering your condition. It's a bad choice right now. There isn't a magic pill. No one's going to come along to save you. There is no June Cleaver to make everything right and be the perfect housewife. There is no Prince Charming to sweep you off your feet and bring you to his castle to pamper you. You can find someone who has their own act together when you get your own act together. You don't need someone else to be happy or to get things rolling. Stop fixating on your past failures and lost opportunities. It's done, it's gone, it's over. I'm a survivor. I survive. It's what I do. So I understand when I say, that simple survival isn't enough. Get a goal, take up a hobby, focus on getting a better job. Find something you like doing, and not those video games you are vanishing into. Those video games are just virtual drugs. They give you a boost in self-esteem in small doses and at random intervals. They are your kryptonite. You will feel horrible for wasting your time when you could have been productive. Then you'll play the game more to feel better. It's a vicious cycle that only serves to make things worse. It's time to consider cutting back on the fake life and look forward to the real world for a while. Right now, you aren't strong enough to do that alone. You do need help. Go to your family. Talk to a counselor. If the night is long and dark, don't go through it alone. If you have no friends left to help you, and you've hurt your family too many times, there are free counselor services out there. You need to talk to someone else for perspective. You need to start asking for help. Stop beating yourself up. Don't feel unworthy of help. Don't just complain about your situation. Venting is good, but after you're done venting and getting it all out in the open, ask how you can fix the situation. This problem isn't one that you can fix alone. Your problem is that you need to understand it. You need to accept your situation, then adapt. Change is always painful, but the only way to truly understand your situation is through the eyes of someone else. You are avoiding it and trying hard to keep things the way they've always been. In doing so, you are clinging to so many dead ideas that you have entered the afterlife. This is not the place for you. You need to live again. You simply are holding on to too much baggage. You need to let it go. You need to let the dead weight and dead concepts go. They are pulling you towards the after death. You need to go back to the lands of the living, while leaving your pain behind to continue heading westward. This has been Afterlife Advice. Up next, the classifieds. Help wanted. Fresh lifeguards. As of last Tuesday, all of our old lifeguards have gone stale. As per company policy, any lifeguard that has been opened and reached its best before date must be recycled. Since we haven't been rotating our stock of lifeguards as much as we should, we find ourselves needing to acquire an entirely new staff. Lifeguards must be able to live, guard, survive exposure to so-called sun for extended periods of time, possess a valid driver's license with no outstanding DUIs, pass drug testing. Applicants failing to take the required drugs will be automatically disqualified. Use a shovel. Lift a human adult. Swim in fluid, including superfluid and Bose-Einstein consolidate. Required job duties will include: the head of each shift will be required to carry the Eye of Objathoth for the entire duration of his or her shift. If the next shift doesn't arrive on time, you will be expected to wear the eye until relieved of duty. Rescue customers from fluid when said fluid is detrimental to their survival. This includes, but not limited to, first aid, CPR, temporarily storing their souls within the Eye of Objathoth, and flinging flotation devices at people. You must be prepared to perform the rites of appeasement to Ma'ai, the time shifter, at the beginning of every shift. You will be required to occasionally get everyone else out of the fluid should someone urinate in the fluid. It'll be too late for the fool who avoided their bladder, but the rest of the patrons might have a fighting chance. You will also be required to remove any bits stuck in the fluid filter. The job comes with the following perks: unlimited overtime, unlimited undertime, flexible hours, non-Euclidean hours. Hours will melt like taffy in a blast furnace. Ma'ai, the time shifter, is very generous when it comes to time. You will also gain an overinflated sense of self-importance as you become the despotic tyrant of a tiny kingdom of fluid. You will receive 3 weeks paid vacation. Daycare is available. You also have access to unlimited refills on all fountain fluids from the snack hut. Please bring your own drinking container. Applications must be submitted by Tuesday. It will always be Tuesday. It will never stop being Tuesday. The following is a paid advertisement. Are you a woman who is approaching that very special day that's all about you and you alone? I of course am speaking about your wedding day. Have you thought, I wish there was a way to finally share my special day with everyone on the planet? Yet you didn't want to ruin that most intimate of moments by having a camera crew constantly following you around? Well, that problem has been solved. J. Crew presents the world's only internet-ready gown, the www wedding.dress. The www wedding.dress is the only wedding gown in the world that comes wired for both video and sound. It is uploading a constant stream of 7 zettabytes of information every second directly to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and a cornucopia of social media sites that will likely vaporize before this commercial is even aired. But trust us, those websites will be popular, and you will want to have every moment of your special day plastered over every inch of them. Let us assure you, your friends will all be #jealous. Just remember the old saying, something old, something new, something borrowed, and something Bluetooth. The www wedding.dress from J. Crew. Order now. Up next, horoscopes. Lungs. Today is a great day to be upbeat and show off that magnetic personality. Literally. For some reason, every electron in your body is now pointing in the exact same direction, and you are attracting ferrous metals. A great time for finding lost items on the beach, but a bad time for entering deep water. I would be concerned about the toaster. Heart. You are in no mood for chit-chat, and anyone who wastes your time with silly gossip will be told to keep quiet unless it's about presidential candidates. You are beginning the process of turning into a libertarian pundit. Soon you will crave non-stop presidential election coverage. Your bones will twist and contort. Not much you can do about it, I'm afraid. Best to just roll with it and try and get a job at a local news network. Now with the presidential election season taking 5 years out of every 4, you can at least look forward to steady work. Spleen. Normally you're the one who gets stuck with all the weird duality crap, but today you're off the hook. Find a thyroid, point at him, laugh. Remind him about what happened last week when you begged him for help and he abandoned you in your time of need. It's a good day for kicking thyroids while they're down. Liver. Today is going to be a good day. That's all it says. The day will be good. Just the day, mind you. As soon as the sun sets, however, oh, when the sun sets, when this day ends, oh, I am counting the minutes, liver, the seconds. Every tick is scrumptious pain. Every moment brings us closer to the end of your oh so undeserved good day. Enjoy it while it lasts. Brain. We all have aspects of our personality that we usually do our best to hide or ignore. Everyone has negative qualities, but not you. You are simply perfect and awesome in every way. It's a great day to walk about and remind people just how awesome you are and how everyone's lives are a little bit better just by knowing you. Try standing in the middle of the street, shouting it out for everyone to hear. They'll thank you for it. There is no downside to anything you do today. Stomach, you did not arrive at your present position by chance. It is all part of the grand design, and part of that grand design is knowing when to help others move to a position of greater responsibility. Keep an eye out for underlings who have shown personal initiative. Today would be a good day to promote someone from a position of unimportance to a job more befitting someone of their talent. Skin, seeking justice for imbalances in the world and concerned with relationships and appearances. That is what Wikipedia says about you. Well, don't worry about appearance, for soon your face will become contorted with rage as you are filled with an overwhelming desire for vengeance. Your ability to judge what others call a proportional response have gone right out the window. Speaking of, when was the last time you saw that very expensive pet you bought? The one you saw your neighbor's cat eyeing last week? You might want to go looking for it. Take a weapon. I heard the owner of that cat is hanging out in the middle of the street bragging about something. Appendix. Life sucks. Everything sucks. Everyone sucks. Intestines. Know how you get stuck all the time writing stupid horoscopes that nobody cares about? There's a good chance you'll finally get that promotion and get out of the department where careers go to die. Thyroid. Good luck as you flounder through the day. Your color scheme will become inverted. Everyone will think you're using your left hand when you know it's your right. Every single word in the world will seem to be a mirror image of itself. However, no one else will have any problem reading. Your doctor will think your heart is on the wrong side of your chest, but you will know the truth. It's not you who have gone mad, but the entire world. Enjoy your time away. Kidney. What's done is done and cannot be undone. So forget the past and think only of the future. The choices you make this weekend will influence your life for years to come. Just because someone has strange fetishes is no reason to finalize that divorce. Your ex is about to get a promotion and get a real job and stop being a joke, so you might want to give him a second chance. Pancreas. If you go out with that woman who you were helping through her divorce, there's a good chance someone might blow his brains out in your bathroom while you are gone for the weekend. Do you really want a tortured soul haunting your home? Think about what it will do to the resale value. This has been Horoscopes. Up next, Memoriam. Tonight's memoriam will be in memory of a man who has done more for inhuman rights than any person in American history. I speak, of course, of Justice Antonin Scalia. The man has had a long and lustrous career, one that has done wonders to further the rights of inanimate objects than any other man in American history. He furthered the privacy rights of ballots during the 2000 presidential election. When Florida ballots were being counted, the Democrats desperately wanted to see what those ballots were. However, understanding that ballots have a right to privacy, he ruled in a fashion that assured those ballots could maintain their privacy and prevent the release of scandalous information. In January of 2010, Scalia again expanded the rights of non-humans by declaring that corporations were people too. At the same time, he tacked on the right to free speech for cash, thus opening up the floodgates for dollar bills to finally have a say in politics. However, he did have his flaws and prejudices. Specifically, he opposed the rights for non-humans to marry. One of his stated reasons came up during a landmark case where he addressed homosexuality and marriage between same-sex individuals. Normally, he didn't have a problem with homosexuals, but he felt that if he ruled in their favor, it would open up the doorway to allow people to marry their toasters. This was a strange reversal for a man who had for many years championed the rights of inanimate and non-humans. If a corporation is just like a person, why doesn't a corporation have the right to get married? This disconnect with his past rulings is a bit of a quandary. and one that he never addressed, despite how many times the issue was raised, which would be exactly 0 times. True, he couldn't get past his knee-jerk revulsion of appliance sexuals having access to the same protections as heterosexual couples, but he worked hard to bring about change all the same. So do not judge him for his feet of clay, but instead see him for the vision he possessed, a vision of a world where a person is not judged by the color of his skin, but by how much money he has in a limited liability shell corporation that he created to obfuscate his influence. Vaya con Dios, Justice Scalia, vaya con Dios. This has been Memoriam. Up next, final thoughts. We as a culture romanticize the unstoppable man, the man who can be knocked down only to rise back up again, the survivor who wins by simply refusing to die. The reality of such a man is not so cinematic. If life piles enough upon the back of a man, he will break, either his spirit or his mind. A man goes crazy when he gets to a point where he's just surviving to survive. Such a man is no longer living. He is only existing. If you get good enough at enduring the trials and tribulations of existence, it becomes a primordial need manifested as psychosis. Yes, such a man could crawl his way out of his own grave, but he cannot stop for even the most minor of injuries. He can never rest. For if you don't stop to heal, then you don't have to feel. Feeling is death to a man like that. You must always move forward, no matter how hard you are knocked down. You must get back up and keep going because of one simple belief. Things will never get any better. This is as good as it gets. But as terrible and horrible as things may be, this is not truth, only conviction. Eventually we all need to heal. Can you stop? Can you let it hurt? Because we glorify such men, no one will notice their pain. No one will help them because people try to become as broken as they are. The determinator, the man seeking to become a force of nature, just as strong, just as pitiless. And when his Sisyphean task is at an end, in a dark, windowless room he will sit, trapped alone with horrific truths and missing friends. Just something to think about. And as always, learn to let go or keep heading westward. This is Psychopomp Ron Boatman, signing off. This show has been produced and recorded by Robert Goodfellow. All music is from iTunes, Google Free Play, and or Incompetech.com. Music is free use from various artists, specifically Kevin Cleo, Chris Zabrinski, The Rosie Lord, and Morteth Haster. Most songs were altered and remixed with soothing background noise from freesound.com. Ron Boatman is played by Robert Goodfellow. If you have any desire to donate money to us, don't. That might change in the future, but for now we would like very much if you instead go to www.kittycorner.org and donate any donations to them. They helped me out when my cats were sick, and they never asked for a dime. However, instead of donating money, we instead would like to ask you for your time. We are an open sourced show. What that means is, not only are you free to use our show any way you wish, we encourage it. We ask that if you have any artistic ability, and you like the show, to please send us anything you want to contribute. Pictures, scripts, music, anything at all. Whatever you wish to create that you think would be cool for us to use, we welcome all contributions. However, do understand that you won't get paid for any of it. Furthermore, legally, anything you send to us will become a donation. We are free to use anything that you create using our intellectual property as we see fit, even if you don't send us the information and we get it by third party. Furthermore, if you somehow figure out a way to make money off of us, we're okay with that. We would just like a cut of some sort, either for deferring the cost for producing the show or for making sure the Kitty Corner Cat Rescue of CNY gets the money they need to help pay the medical bills for the many cats that they have rescued. Currently, everyone who works on this show works for free, and all costs are coming out of my own pocket. So if you do figure out a way to make money, or just come up with some cool merchandise ideas, please contact us first. The material is free to use if you're not making any money. However, we do not give you permission to label, mark, claim, or state that anything you make, write, produce, or create using our intellectual property is official. Whatever you create without our written approval must be labeled, declared, or in some way, shape, or form made absolutely clear that it is based on Heading Westward and fan created. Only one person can declare anything official Heading Westward merchandise/material, and that one person is Robert Goodfellow, producer and creator of Heading Westward, which is me. That said, the official email of the audio drama podcast known as Heading Westward is hwestward@yahoo.com. That's hwestward@yahoo.com. We are looking forward to any emails that would be asking for advice, as well as any questions you might have for Ron Boatman in character. We welcome any and all feedback from our fans, detractors, enemies, and the living impaired. That said, we hope to be hearing from you, post-consumer. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a pleasant day.